Hello everybody, Joe the Lawyer here, and it's another late night video. It's Thursday night at, right, it is Thursday, yeah. It's 10 to midnight, and I'm just finished writing up everything on alignment. It's probably going to be a 20-minute video, I guess. It's a lot, it's a weird thing writing here, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. I have a lot of gut instincts, but until I actually sit down with the keyboard, like I don't articulate it until I write it out. I could yak about anything, I could bullshit about anything, but until I actually write it out, that helps me formulate my thoughts on all this. It's kind of funny. And also I've discovered that I'm a late night writer. Who knew? Right? I hate mornings. I hate, my morning is around my day starts around 2 when I come alive, no matter what time I wake up. So it seems to me my mind works better at night. So I just came back from the gym, a couple hours there, kicked some ass, and got some energy here. So I figured, let me sit down and bang this thing out and do the video. All right. So a couple of announcements. First, Saturday's live stream. All right. There will be a live stream Saturday. I had to figure out plans with the family, who's doing what, when is the game, when are we going to grab lunch, all that crap. So it looks like we got it arranged so that there should be a live stream around 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock East Coast USA, 4 o'clock New York City time. All right. So basically anybody who wants to join in that live stream are all welcome, and I love that shit. It's interactive. You guys we go talk back and forth, and add a comment here, okay, to this video about anything you want to talk about, because it's an open live stream. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything you want to ask me about, feel free, add a comment here, guys. Okay. Now, anybody who's listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that, and Rumble, it's a weird thing. So when I do a live stream on YouTube, it takes like a fucking day to process that thing for whatever reason. Then I could download it. Then I could upload it to Spotify, Rumble, Apple Podcasts, and all that. So sorry about the delay in that. So you're getting videos out of order sometimes if I do a long live stream. So sorry about that from the other day. Wednesday's live stream in the afternoon just got posted today after today's live stream. So it's a little bit out of order. All right. All these announcements done. Let's get into the heart of this stuff, okay? Alignment, the big one. Everybody's bitching about alignment all the time, right? It's because alignment's been around since the beginning of the hobby. Oh, and by the way, if I pause every once in a while for a sip here, my brother got me some good rum for Christmas. I've been sipping on it as I write here, so I don't know if it added to the flavor of the video and the text or not, but we'll see how it goes. So, since the beginning of the hobby, Gary read 3 Hearts and 3 Lines by Paul Anderson, P-O-U-L, because he's fancy, and all the Elric stuff by Michael Moorcock, which I've read several times. I've bought multiple editions of his stuff. Good shit. The whole Eternal Champion series that was out in the late 90s, goddamn awesome books. Anyway, the Elric stuff by Michael Moorcock, and based on all that, I guess he put alignment into his game, and people have been fucking confused ever since. The original alignment axis was law and chaos. Roughly speaking, they represent orderly society versus the forces that sought to tear down orderly society. That's the best I could figure, right? But most people didn't understand those concepts because they hadn't read the books that I just referenced. So most people just use those terms as like stand-ins for good and evil. All right, so what's Gary do? He adds in good and evil. And, just to fuck with us, he threw neutrality in there too. All right, so now there's 9 goddamn alignments, each with their own alignment language. Remember those things in AD&D 1E? Alignment language. If you were lawful good, you had your own fucking language. And guess what? If you ever changed your alignment, I guess you forgot your own old alignment language? Who knows? But, thanks, Gary. People have been fighting over this bullshit for like 50 fucking years. More battles have been fought over alignment at the table than against demons and devils. So, going back to first principles, though, what the hell does all this shit mean? Okay, basically, having a sip. Basically, they represent the PC's morality and their view on what type of society they want to have. Good can be described as selfless, evil as selfish. Neutral, somewhere in between, and most people live along the spectrum. Most people are selfless as long as it's not inconvenient, or they're selfless if they want some recognition for it. They're selfish pretty often, though, because it's just easier that way, right? Plus, there's a million ways to justify it and thereby soothe your conscience. All right, and you can always get if you're Catholic at least, like I was brought up, and you get your sins forgiven every Sunday. So you better be a douche, whatever, all week long. Sins are all forgiven on Sunday. Get your penance in there, So anyway, not to shit on the Catholic Church, but yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, as for law and chaos, I think they basically represent the PC's view of how societies should be organized. Law is absolute order, and chaos is anarchy. Okay, at the two extremes. All right, law. I mean, taking away the evil aspect of it, law is like those German guys in the 40s, absolute control and order, and anarchy is just, I guess, what happened in Seattle during the riots. Okay, a few years back. Neutral apparently is. I guess I could describe it to you. Neutral's like a neutral person is who gives a fuck. Just don't bust my balls too much. As long as I can support my family, go on a couple-week vacation every year, have most of my weekends off, down a few at the bar with my buddies without breaking the bank, and I have a really good TV for the game, I'm happy to let you run the world however you want, you evil, greedy, sociopathic fucks. That's neutral. But pretty much most of the world, okay? People get way too hung up on alignments in RPGs. I mean, honestly, when the hell has a PC's point of view on how society should be organized ever come into play in any way, shape, or form? Are they sitting around the tavern discussing the philosophies of your world's version of Locke, Hobbes, and Voltaire? No. They're getting shit-faced. They're trying to get laid. They're pissing away their money from the last dungeon haul while lying about their exploits and waiting for the next plot hook to walk through the fucking door. As to good and evil, I found most PCs having their own alignment. The PC official alignment is called neutral greedy. They give no fucks. They're either murder hobos, slaughtering all in their path, or they have some little bit of depth to them, and they won't try to piss everybody off in town with their antics. But, if they're murder hobos, if you're a good GM at least, the consequences of their actions usually will catch up with them someday. If they're just plain evil, then that's your choice as a GM to run that game. I tried it a couple times, and it's not something I ever want to do again. It brought out the dark side of some of my players. It was creepy as fuck. I mean, I wasn't going to share this, but I figured, what the hell, just in honesty here. One guy got into poisons. He wanted to be a dealer of poisons. One guy was way into slavery. I don't know what the fuck this guy had going on with slavery. But the worst, some fucker told me after the campaign that his PC kept a journal of all the kids that he'd killed in each town the PCs were in. Now, we never killed any PCs. I don't let somebody kill PCs in my fucking game, kids in my game. He never killed them all, or anything, and nothing. But the dude just said the kid that the PC did. He had the whole goddamn journal going in his own, and he wrote it down, and he had the fucking weird shit going on in his own head that whenever his creepy-ass fuck went to every town, he would kill kids and bury them or something, and he kept a fucking journal. At the end of the campaign, he's like, yeah, so this happened. And I'm like, fucking, what? Get the fuck out of here, man. The hell? So, yeah, never again am I running an evil game. It was just fucking weird, man. But bottom line is, I do not use alignment. All I ever ask is for the player to have a good idea of what the PC will do in certain situations and keep to it. And if he changes it up, have a good reason, based on something that happened in the game. Like, he went dark because, let's say, his mother was tortured, had other things happen to her by sand people. Or his son showed him what the true heart of a Jedi really is. And, that sort of thing, right? Have a reason in game to change, from your way you are to something different. Now, some GMs use alignment as a straitjacket. They try to tell the player, your PC wouldn't do that, he's neutral good, blah, 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 blah. Or they demand a strict and well-defined alignment just to be able to predict the PC's actions to make sure the player does exactly what the GM wants them to do every single step of the way, because their adventure railroad plot demands certain things happen in an exact order, which is just weak-ass GMing, really. They're either insecure in their abilities to role-play a free-flowing game where character development actually happens, or they don't know what the fuck I'm even talking about here. That means they're just running a railroad adventure and gave no thought to anything other than what's on a freaking page in front of them. Now, I've written about alignment in various editions of my house rules, so in my 5e game, I had to write it down because I was running it for young people who were kind of new to the game and all that. So I wrote, this is what I said. Alignment does not really matter that much as long as you play your characters consistently. And if there is an inconsistency, have a good reason for the variations. Evil characters are not allowed due to the nature of the game I plan to GM. Evil characters just will not fit this particular campaign. All right, so that's what I said to them, and they got it. They didn't, they didn't argue, they didn't bitch. A lot of them are new. Like I said, the last couple of years, and I played them. I had these house rules at a game store and at 2 different libraries. So taught a lot of new people how to play, and that's what I gave them, and it worked well. Okay, another sip. Hold on. All right, I did not bother in my 2E game that I've been running with an explanation of alignment. Everyone in here has been playing for an average of like 40 years or more, so it just wasn't needed. You know, we're all beyond alignment and all that bullshit considerations. Alignment arguments are for people who are new, you know, and people who are just, I don't know, something. Something. Anyway, I didn't bother with the 2E thing, but I figure for this RPG that I'm writing here, I have a good draft of the player's handbook already, you know, for the basics and all that. You know, it's not ready for publication. I have to flesh it all out, but I did write the basics on alignment. So here's what I wrote in there, and this is going to be a bit of a long explanation. So it says, alignment, not used. Just be consistent in your personality with your goals, strengths, weaknesses, and quirks, and have a good role-playing reason for any deviance. The exceptions are priests and paladin types. All right, now, I broke that out further with this explanation, titled, A Note on Warrior Priests, Druids, Hunters, Bards, and Rangers. Now, here we go. While I do not care about specific alignment in general, for warrior priests, because you could be a warrior priest in my game, it's like a combination of a fighter and a priest, but you're dedicated to a certain god. You know, it's like an alignment, but you're not a lawful good. You're not your classical paladin. So, while I don't care about specific alignment in general for warrior priests and priests, it's a different story. They must adhere to the beliefs and principles of their gods in everyday life, and that puts restrictions on what they can or cannot do. One example is the paladin of, and I made up a god called Arden. I don't know if that'll stick, but a paladin of Arden. They are the only true classic paladin-type warrior priest in the game world. Paladins of Arden are lawful good in the classic sense. Now, I don't have any alignments in the game, but lawful good is something people recognize, okay? They aren't stupid and don't have to blindly charge in when it means instant death and do dumb shit all the time, but they won't be able to operate in the moral gray zone either. They won't have a personal story arc where they must reconcile their moral code and strict religious beliefs with the reality of living life in the morally decadent world and make compromises. No, they are paragons of all things considered to be knightly virtues. This may make it difficult, but not impossible, for a good role player to play one. They are also devoted to their god and focus on their god's ethos. If they stray from knightly acts and do not act as their god's sword and shield in the world, they lose all paladin abilities. Priests are also devoted to the god's ethos and beliefs, but while warrior priests try to get converts by virtue of example, priests do it by recruitment and service to the followers of their god. They serve local communities, and as they get higher in level, they may get a bigger church and a bigger community. Some priests go out and become adventurers. They love the excitement and aren't really suited to be a priest in a small town and live a boring-ass life. They also do it to put a public face on their church and to get their church money via tithing. Mainly, their goal is to carry out their God's will in the world. That's the key here. They're carrying out their God's will in the world. While warrior priests are considered the sword arm of their gods, the actual priests are their eyes, ears, mouth, will, and wisdom of their god made manifest. So again, the priest, if you're playing a priest of any god, you are representing the eyes, ears, mouth, will, and wisdom of the god made manifest in the world. This is important because a priest in my campaign, you can't just be a heal bot. You're there to make your God's will manifest in the world, just as a warrior priest does, but in a different way. Your acts in an adventuring group aren't just to loot a tomb and get rich and level up. You do not join a group for that purpose. You to be joining a group that has the goals that do not go against the ethos of your God, and you hope to use the group to better serve your God and help make his will manifest in the world. You're also always considering your place in the pecking order of the church. There's always church politics. Now, let me give a quick explanation first. Mother in my world is Mother Nature, okay? And druids, hunters, rangers, bards, they all serve Mother, okay? So Mother, when I mention Mother, it's Mother Nature. It's the equivalent of Sylvanus and other, something like that, okay? So druids, hunters, bards, rangers are special cases. Druids are the chief priests of Mother. Rangers are the protectors of the worshippers of Mother against all things hostile. Hunters perform a special function on behalf of Mother, the extermination of everything unnatural and not of this world. Bards are the spies and allies of Mother. As such, PCs of these classes will have certain restrictions and goals they must strive to attain within the context of the campaign. Okay, so that's from my new RPG. Let me know what you think of it, by the way. Okay, the Hunters it's a new thing. I'm basing it on the what is that thing that Henry Cavill was in, The Witcher. All right, they're going out there to kill the bad guys that don't belong here, right? Any mutations, weird fucking extraplanar creatures, things that don't belong in this world, you know, abominations, monstrous creations of wizards. That's their job, is to go kill that shit. Bards, I am picking up on Gary's AD&D 1E thing, bards, even though I fucking hate bards in general. This is a good way. Bards are out there in disguise as spies for Mother in the world. Okay, so they report back to rangers and druids and whatnot, and hunters as to what's going on, and they're just out there disguised as minstrels or troubadours or something like that, and they're jack of all trades kind of thing. I figure that kind of fits and lets people who want to play a bard play a bard. Okay, they got some light druid abilities, but anyway, so back to the text of the video here. So while I do not do alignment, certain classes do have restrictions on them in terms of how they have to act within the context of the setting. I don't care how much, I don't know how much I've said this here in my videos, and I don't think I've ever really talked about this, guys, but for me, setting is everything. Every single thing in my game stems from the setting. Every class, every race, everything. I am a setting first guy. D&D, RPGs, whatever I'm playing, it's not a game to me. It's not a game with game rules that must be played by. This is an exploration of a setting, and I'm manipulating game rules and house ruling game rules so that everything about the game rules fit my setting, from classes to races to magic to everything. Okay, so I hack and slash everything about a game to make it fit my world. Okay, so that's how I view it here. So while I'm setting first, basically, that's everything about me. I'm setting first, okay? So while I think alignment is dumb, the setting itself puts certain demands and expectations upon the PCs depending on their class, all right? So that's pretty much everything I got to say about alignment, guys. I hope it made some sense and helped a little bit. But let me just end this with a phrase. Now, this isn't the phrase to use. This is just a phrase I was thinking about because I was thinking about rereading the Elric books again. So I give you a salute, my viewers. Blood and souls for my Lord Ariok. Name that tune. Where did that come from, everybody? All right, now the words. All right, the words. This is it's something different. It's not a word you could work. I'm not going to throw you out Gilligan or Ginger or something like that. Although Ginger Marianne. Here's the question for you. Ginger or Marianne? I'm a Marianne person because she could fucking cook. Maybe Marianne in the kitchen, Ginger in the bedroom? I don't know. Something like that. Who knows? But anyway, here's the thing. Here's what I'm asking for you, for your comments. Just comment your favorite alignment for your PCs, assuming you use alignments, right? I mean, if you don't use alignment, maybe convert it back. What's your of a 9 alignment system? What's your favorite alignment to run as a PC? Just kind of curious, okay? So throw it in there and tell me why, all right, in the comments section. So coming up next, we're done finally with all the game prep, in-game, out-of-game. We're done with alignment, got that done. Now I'm going into a deep dive coming up, guys. It's all about designing campaigns, and this is going to be big. It's going to be big, a lot, all right? So here's the next section. Starting with sandboxes and why they're the best. Just going to go over what sandboxes are and tell you why you should all be running sandbox campaigns. So that's going to be the next video. I'm going to record that Friday night, and Friday night should be fun. I'm taking off early from work. I'm driving up to Springfield because I'm out of weed. So I'm going to head up there. My brother's along for the ride. We're going to pick up some good shit, and we're going to stop at this fucking awesome barbecue place. It's called Theodore's Booze, Blues, and Barbecue. They have fucking great decor. It's an old pool hall from 100-something years ago. Best barbecue I've ever had in my life. Right up there with Texas barbecue. And I know it's heresy for all you Texans, but we're gonna hit it up. We're gonna get some Texas. We're gonna get some good barbecue right on par with Texas barbecue. And maybe they're gonna get some live bands, some blues bands there, and then we're gonna drive on back. And after having a couple, I'm not going to drive drunk, of course, don't worry. I'm going to drive on back and hang out a little bit. So I'll be doing tomorrow night's video. That'll be the Saturday video. Yeah, I'll be by the time I get home, we're going to stop at a different bar. Yeah, it should be a good night. I'm going to be rambling probably. All right, so anywho, I'll let you all go because I'm rambling right now. I think it's fucking 12:10 and I'm getting punchy. I got a couple things to do before I go to bed, guys. So thanks for listening. It's probably 1:20 right now on a Friday afternoon, and know that I still have another half hour before I can even go to bed. And I gotta get up at 6 a.m. Fuck me. Anywho, talk to y'all later, guys, and look forward to the next series of videos. And again, let me know on Saturday. All right, Saturday I'm going to do a live stream around 4 o'clock. Once I could solidify it. So let me know what you guys wanted me to talk about. Any topics you wanted to go over and who's going to be there. 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. All right. I will talk to you all later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.